All right, I just finished recording some ads for my new VSL, and one of the ad was, what is the best way to get high-ticket clients in 2024? And in the ad, basically what I was doing is I was comparing all the different options, like you can run a Skool group, you can do follower ads, you can run, okay, all these are the opposite way, sorry about that. You can run a Facebook group, you can do a low ticket offer, you can do a webinar, you can do a free day challenge. The possibilities realistically are endless. And in the ad, I was basically comparing each one of these strategies and I was highlighting the pros and the cons. And that inspired me to record this quick video. Quick, I don't know how quick, maybe it'll be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but I just want to highlight all of the different strategies that you can run in 2024 if you want to get high paying clients in a way that is predictable, profitable, and scalable. All right. Now, if you've never seen me before, my name is Marco and I run a company that helps coaches, consultant, expert, and also some service providers get more clients using primarily paid ads. Now, on the screen, maybe I'll put some of the clients that I worked with, my track record, just so you can get an idea of the type of clients that we work with. But we do work with quite a lot of high-level 6, 7, and even 8-figure entrepreneurs. And by working with so many people, just to give you an idea, we work with roughly 150 clients in the last 2 years. That gave me access to a ton of insights. And during those 2 years, we tested so many of these strategies for our clients, including, as I was saying before, Skool groups, Facebook groups, low ticket offers, IGDM ads, IG follower ads, VSLs, live webinars, pre-recorded webinars with a sale at the end, free day challenges. And by having access to so many insights, I can share with you what works, what doesn't work, what used to work but doesn't work anymore, and just help you and just give you some general suggestions that are going to help you not waste any time, money, and resources. So without wasting any time, by the way, if you see me looking on my writings, because I have the VSL that I recorded before, that I will be using just for some general notes. And before I do that, let me actually drink a bit of my Red Bull. Normally I don't drink Red Bull, but for a special occasion like this, I feel like it's needed. Juneberry. What is Juneberry? I have no idea, but it tastes pretty good. So the first thing that I will say is that whenever you want to scale your high-ticket business, coaching, consulting, course, or service-based business, the first thing you need to realize, okay, what are the variables that impact growth? And when it comes to a high-ticket business, you have traffic, you have leads, you have calls, you have sales, and you have the fulfillment. So most of the times, like if you are stuck or if you are not able to grow as fast as you would like, it's either for two reasons. Reason number one, something inside of that process is broken. One of those 5 variables is not within KPI. So let's say, for example, that you are able to generate a bunch of traffic that can be organically. For example, you're very good at creating Instagram Reels. You're very good at creating YouTube videos. You can generate traffic, but let's say that the problem is that you cannot turn that traffic into leads. And if you cannot turn that traffic into leads, you cannot turn those leads into calls, you cannot turn those calls into sales, okay? So the problem might be that in this case, and I will probably be putting like a screenshot on the video here, is let's say, for example, that we have one KPI here that is outside of KPIs, as I was saying before. So we have the traffic. Let's say, for example, that you get 500,000 impressions per month, okay? Out of those 500,000 impressions, you get 500 leads, which means that you have, what is that? Like a 1% conversion between traffic into leads. And out of those 500 leads, you have a 1% booking rate. Now, what is the booking rate? The booking rate, in simple words, is basically just a number of calls divided by the number generated. So in this case, we have 5 calls. So 5 divided by 500, that's 1%. That is the booking rate, okay? Let's say that the show up rate is 70% and the total live calls, that is 3.5. Let's say that your closing rate is 25%. The average ticket price is $5,000. This means that you, with 500,000 impressions and 500 leads, you pretty much get one client. It's 0.8 clients, which means that the revenue is 4.3K and the average cost collected, let's say, is 50%. That means that the average that you collect $2,187 from 500 leads and 500,000 impressions. So in this case, you can see that the bottleneck is the booking rate. You're generating leads, you're generating traffic, but you are only turning 1% of those leads into calls. On the right side, the scenario B is where the booking rate goes all the way up to 5%. That means that you now have, out of those 500 leads, so the variables remain the same, everything remains the same, The only difference is the booking rate. Instead of 1%, you have 5%. That means that you, instead of having 5 calls, you now get 25 calls. Sharp rate remains the same, 70%. The closing rate remains the same. The ticket price remains the same, and the average cash collected remains the same. Now, the difference is that by working on the booking rate, which realistically speaking just comes down to the type of content that you're posting, the call to actions that you have, and the appointment setting process that you have in place with your business, you go from 1% to 5%. You can see that the business with the same amount of leads goes from making 4.3K a month to making $21,000 a month, almost $22,000 a month. So the first scenario is, as I was saying before, some of those 5 variables are outside of KPIs and something is broken. The second case is when you simply don't have enough inputs. So let's say, for example, that you post on Instagram daily, you post on YouTube like, I don't know, twice a week, you post on TikTok, whatever. Let's say that you're mainly doing organic. And no matter what you do, you cannot get more than 100,000 impressions per month or 100 leads per month, okay? The problem in this case, let's say that you generate traffic, you don't have any problem turning that traffic into leads, which was the problem that we had before, and you don't have any problem turning those leads into calls, you don't have any problem closing those calls. The problem in this case is that you simply don't have enough inputs. Not enough new people are finding about you and your product and your offer on a daily basis. You're stuck at that 100,000 impression as an example. All the numbers, by the way, are going to be hypothetical, okay? But you're stuck at that 100,000. And the problem is not that something is necessarily broken inside of the business. It's just the fact that you don't have enough inputs. You don't have control on those impressions, no matter what you do. So these are realistically the only 2 problems that you can face when you are feeling stuck or when you cannot get more high ticket clients. Does that make sense so far, guys? Because when you break it down, business is really just a matter of looking at the numbers and understanding, okay, what are the levers that I need to pull in order to get to the next level, in order to fix the current bottleneck that I have. So in order for you to understand what is the best strategy that you need to run, the first thing that you need to do is we need to basically talk about each one of these variables one by one and understand how they get impacted. So the first variable is, of course, the traffic. Now, we're in 2024, as we all know, attention is the new economy. If new people don't know about you, there's no way you're going to be making money. Simple as that. If you look at the top people in any industry, you can look at, again, McGregor, Kylie Jenner, Tate. Why do they make hundreds of millions of dollars per year? It's because they have a ton of attention. They have millions and millions of people looking at them and watching their stuff every single day. And then they found a way to monetize that attention and turn it into money. So the same thing applies, by the way, for your business, coaching, course, service business. If nobody knows that you exist, there is no way you're going to be able to make money. It's really as simple as that. So new qualified people needs to find out about you every single day. And that's why also when it comes to, I said before, qualified, that's when the viral element in some cases doesn't really work that well, because you can get a huge amount of traffic, but if that traffic is unqualified, I mean, not that much is going to change, to be honest. So that is the first thing that we need to realize. So if right now you look at your business and you realize that, okay, I don't have control over the traffic that I can generate, we find out the first problem. So let's say, for example, that tomorrow someone comes to you, they have a gun pointing at your head and they say, okay, like you either 5x the number of traffic that you get within 24 hours or I pull the trigger. The question that I have for you is, would you be able to save yourself? If the answer is no, it means that whatever you're doing right now with the traffic is simply not scalable and you don't have any control on it. Because yes, you can say, okay, like I can post 5 times the content, but does 5 times the content equals 5 times the leads, 5 times the calls, 5 times the closes? Not really. So again, the first thing that we need to understand here is that in order for you to have a business that is not going to get stuck, you need to have complete control of your traffic. Now, when it comes to the traffic, what are the options that you have? If you're in the coaching space, first option that you maybe have tried, maybe have heard of, is going to be Instagram shoutouts. Now, when it comes to Instagram shoutouts, I have a couple of problems with them. First problem is going to be the tracking, because when it comes to the tracking, most people that I talk to, most clients, if they do run Instagram shoutouts, they base themselves on the cost per follower, which is not, I think it's pretty risky, because you're basically basing yourself on a metric where, yes, you do know how much you pay for a follower, but first of all, are those followers qualified? Where do those followers come from? And more importantly, which is the main problem when it comes to Instagram shoutouts, let's say that today you have 5 pages where you go out and they post your content, you got 1,000 followers. Do you know where each and every single one of those followers came from? Was it the first page, the second page, the third page, the fourth page, the fifth page? Because if you don't know where those followers are coming from, it means that you cannot backtrack where the leads came from, where the calls came from, and where the closes came from. So how are you going to be allocating the budget the next round of shoutouts? And at some point, the system is just going to break, because if you cannot track something, you cannot scale it and you cannot optimize it. It's just really as simple as that. So again, Instagram shadows, I think especially in the past, it did work really well. Lately, we still have some clients that do Instagram shadows, but most of them stop because of this problem. The second problem you're going to be having when it comes to Instagram shadows is that you are going to be getting a bunch of traffic from third world countries. And again, yes, there are some ways that you can remove or block the traffic from specific IP addresses so they don't go into the link in bio, they don't opt in, they're not on the email list, the seller don't reach out to them. But again, it's a bit annoying. And the third main problem is instability. There is not a single client that I've talked to where they said, yeah, it's very predictable and very scalable. I make, every month I make the same amount. If I spend double, I can make double, which by the way is not even real with the ads, but with Instagram shoutouts, it's always like a roller coaster. Some months the quality is really good, some months the quality is terrible. Some months the quality is good, some months the quality is terrible. So you're basically like on this roller coaster that never ends. Then the second strategy that you can put in place are Facebook or Skool groups. Now, especially when it comes to paid ads, there are a couple of things that you need to take into consideration if you want to use this strategy. The first thing that you need to take into consideration is that most of the times you're going to be sending people either to an opt-in page, and after they leave their details, you redirect them to the group, or you send them to a lead form, you collect the details inside of Facebook or Instagram, and then on the confirmation page inside of the lead form, you direct them back to the group. But in both cases, you're going to stumble across one problem. And that problem is going to be the number of people that actually request to join the group. So if you get 100 leads, most of the times, if you're lucky, 50% of the people, maybe something more, is going to be requesting access to the group, which means that you're pretty much already losing 50% of the people. Now, of course, you can have an email sequence in place, you can reach out to the leads and all that, but in most cases, I can tell you because I've done hundreds of tests with clients, it's going to be 50 to 60%. 40% of the people, 50% of people are never even going to join the group. Second problem that you have is that Meta, if we're talking about a Facebook group, is going to give you some restrictions on the number of messages that you can send. After some time, you're just going to have a restriction and you're not going to be able to send more messages. And what does that mean? It means that you cannot fully utilize your appointment setters, or you're just going to have a limit in regards to the amount of conversations that you can start or the follow-ups that you can send. And again, at some point that is a problem because it means that you're going to be capped. And that number is pretty low when it comes to Facebook. It's not that you can send 1,000 conversations per day. The number is much lower. So that is a second problem. And the same principle I would say apply to Skool. It's quite difficult to set on Skool, especially when it comes to B2C offers, because people are not used to Skool as a platform. So that is something that you also do have to take into consideration. Of course, when it comes to B2B, coaches, consulting, we all know like what Skool is and we're familiar with how the platform works. But for B2C, in most cases, when we've done the test, we've seen that people don't really spend that much time. Yes, they might be joining, but again, as I said before, you'll already lose 50% of the people. That 50% that joins, I mean, are they going to spend a lot of time in Skool? Probably not. It's more likely that they're going to be spending time on Facebook. And then the third problem is that, of course, when it comes to a Facebook group or a Skool group, most of the times you need to have content, you need to engage with the community, you need to engage with the members, and that means that you are either going to spend time doing that or you're going to need to make a hire for that. So again, those are some of the issues that you have when it comes to Skool groups. Then when it comes to paid ads, as I was saying before, if you think about it, and I already know what you're thinking, I don't know why there is this stigma when it comes to paid ads, that people think that paid ads don't work anymore, that it doesn't apply for their business, that they need to spend 20 grand a month, or that that I've tried. Maybe they've tried them, maybe you've tried them once and they didn't work, you lost your money. Let me tell you, in 99% of the cases, I've never seen a case where you have a good offer, you have good ads, you have a good funnel, and you don't make a bunch of money and you have a good return. It's really as simple as that. Because if someone tries to run ads, or if you try to run ads and they didn't work, it means that something was broken, whether that was the offer, the pricing, the type of ads that you were running, the funnel that you were running, the content that you were using. Something was broken. It's very unlikely, almost impossible, and I can tell because out of those 150 clients that I work with industries and niches that like I would have never thought that I could get results for, and they got very, very good results. So again, something was probably just broken, but ads always work. And when it comes to ads, the thing that you need to keep in mind, unlike all the other options that I mentioned before, is that they're very predictable. Once you know what you're doing and once you know what are the metrics that you need to look at and you know what changes you need to make in order to constantly improve the performance, then it's going to be very easy for you to have a predictable and consistent way of getting clients. And it's something that you can just turn on. As I said before, you remember the example I said, okay, like you have a gun pointing to your head, okay, you have 24 hours to 5x the number of leads that you need to get. Would a 5x increase with the content output equal a 5x number, or like a 5 times higher number of leads? Probably not. With the ads, most of the times, if you do everything right, you can scale very fast and you can 5x the number of leads by just increasing the budget. Of course, that's not always the case, but if that's not always the case, it means that the ads that you're running are not actual winning ads and that your funnel has some problems. All right, so yeah, when it comes to paid ads, they always work, as I said before. And if you look at some of the biggest people in the industry, Sam Owens, Alex Becker, Jim Launch, Traffic and Funnels, how did they get there? Most of the times it was ads. Of course, I'm not saying you need to drop everything that you're doing and just do ads, but what I'm saying is that ideally a company should be a hybrid. Meaning that the organic creates the audience, builds it. With the organic, you have more of a long-term goal. You're building an asset for the long term, you're building your brand. But with paid ads, you're buying speed. You're buying speed. You want to get results, you want to get new clients, you can do that next week, you can do that tomorrow, you can do it the next month. With organic, that takes a lot longer, and at some point, organic, of course, you're going to have a foundation that is very, very strong. Don't get me wrong, like if everybody would have an audience that allows them to have 20, 30, 50 calls per day organically, that's amazing. That means that your profit margin is going to be insane. But to get to that level, in most cases, it's going to take months, if not years, to build up that audience, all right? With paid ads, it's the opposite. Paid ads, you just fuel growth fast and you move with speed. So a company, as I said before, should be a hybrid. Organic for the long-term asset and paid ads for the speed. Now, when it comes to paid ads, you have a ton of different strategies. You have Facebook groups, you have Skool groups, you have IGTM ads, you have IG follower ads, you have VSLs, you have webinars, 3-day challenges, a bunch of strategies. Now, just to let you know which one of these strategies I will be suggesting is, now, let me break down each one of those and the pros and the cons of each strategy. So let's start off with the Facebook group. As I was saying before, the first problem that you're going to have is that if you get 100 leads, maybe I even have like an example here of what the calculator looks like. So let's say that you run the ads, you generate 100 leads, the cost per lead is $10, 50% of the people don't even join the group, so you have a 50% drop-off, which means that only 50 people out of those 100 are joining the group. Let's say that 30% of the messages are going in the spam folder or not seen. That means that out of 100 leads, you're only getting 15 active conversations. And let's say that out of those 15 conversations, you can get a 10% booking rate, which is pretty good for a Facebook or Skool group. That means that you only have 1.5 calls. Let's say the shop rate is 70%. That means that out of 100 leads, you only have 1 call, which means that let's say that the cost per lead was $10, as you can see here. That means that the cost per book call is $1,000, which for any high-ticket business is simply not going to work. So that's the problem that I have when it comes to Facebook groups. In some cases, also Skool groups, is the fact that you have a drop-off, you have chat restrictions, a lot of messages end up in the spam folder, and out of all the leads that you have, only a very, very small percentage of the leads are actually going to book in a call. So that is the problem when it comes to Facebook and Skool groups, and on top of that, you also have the community management aspect, which is going to require either your time or someone else's time. Second strategy is the Instagram follower ads. This strategy is pretty popular. More and more people talk about it, but from one side, I would say you have the same problem as the Instagram shoutouts. IG follower ads are very, very difficult to track. Why? Because Meta or Instagram doesn't give you the chance, doesn't give you the option to track the followers, which means that let's say that you spend $200 a day and you have free ads running. Let's say that you get like 100 followers per day and the cost per follower is $2, all right? You have no way to know where those 100 followers came from which ad they came from. Did they come from ad 1? Did they come from ad 2? Did they come from ad 3? You have no idea. On top of that, if you're also doing organic or if you're doing shoutouts, you not only have followers from the ads, but you also have followers organically. You also have followers from the shoutouts. It becomes untrackable. And once again, what is not trackable is not scalable. So that is one of the problems when it comes to profile visit ads. But one thing that I will say, because we also still have quite a lot of clients that use this strategy, is that the idea behind it is great. Like you spend money, you send people to your Instagram profile. If the Instagram profile is well optimized, a percentage of that traffic and a percentage of those Instagram profile visits is going to turn into followers. Those followers are going to watch your content, they're going to get educated, they're going to watch your stories, get nurtured, and then you're going to be able to also start conversations with them and get them on a call. All right? The idea behind it is great. The only problem is attracting. Now, one thing I also say, and the reason why we still implement it with quite a lot of clients, is that they are still quite effective because it's one of those strategies that it's kind of like the new strategy on the block, low competition, and in a lot of cases, like it does work. So when it comes to Instagram profile visits, the only problem that I have is the tracking. But apart from that, I think it's a strategy that does work pretty well. But the tracking at some point, of course, becomes a problem. That's why the Instagram profile visit or the follower ad is a strategy that I normally recommend to clients that are in the initial stage. If you really want to scale aggressively, and it depends also where you are at with your revenue, maybe the IG follower ads is not going to be the best strategy. But if you're starting out, if it's the initial stage of growth, then IG follower ads do work quite well. The first strategy is the IG DM ads. So in that case, basically with the ads, then people click on the ad, they go on the lead form, and they send you a specific keyword. This strategy, like we've used it so much. So many clients got incredible results. We have one of our biggest case studies for the IGDM strategy was a guy that was doing YouTube automation. We got him from $26,000 a month to over $350,000 a month with IGDM ads. So they do work incredibly well. Now, a couple of pros that you have when it comes to the IG DM ads is that, first of all, you can track everything. I unlike the IG follower strategy, with IG DM ads, you can track everything because let's say that you launch 3 ads today. The only thing you do is you need to use 3 different keywords. Let's say that on one, just as an example, on one you have start keyword, on the second one you have grow, on the third one you have 2024. Let's say that you close a client today. You can just take the name of the client that you close, scroll up to the conversation inside of Instagram, search the first message that was sent. Okay, if the person sent the keyword start, it means that they're coming from this ad. If they send the message grow, that means that they're coming from the second ad. If they send the keyword 2024, that means that they're coming from the third ad. So it's so it's very easy to track. Now, one thing that you also have to keep in mind with this strategy, but that's with every strategy in general, is that it's not always going to be 100% trackable because a percentage of those people are going to be clicking on the ad, instead of sending you the DM, are going to go on the Instagram profile and are going to start following you. And then you're going to start a conversation with them, get them on a call, close them. And if you look, okay, where did the person come from? You're not going to see the keyword. But again, it's a small percentage of the budget of the people that you're not going to be able to track. In most cases, very trackable and very scalable. The only cons is that it's not super consistent with strategy, simply because you are not optimizing for calls, you're not optimizing for leads, you're optimizing for people that send you a message. Because when it comes to ads, you have different objectives. You have traffic, engagement, leads, conversions, and all the different objectives. In this case, the objective is engagement. The engagement, and then is going to be the send a message. Most of the times, the objective is going to be the most scalable and the most stable is going to be the one where you use a Facebook pixel, right? But I don't want to go too technical. I don't know if you have a lot of experience when it comes to ads or not. So I don't want to go too technical. The fourth strategy is the VSL funnel. Now, the VSL strategy, of course, I love it. I think it's one of the best strategies that you can run, simply because, one, it's extremely trackable, because you can backtrack every single sale, every single call, every single lead that comes in, and you can see exactly how much revenue, how much cash collected, and what is the cost per call on each and every single ad that you're running. And the second thing that is great about this is that you can also optimize for calls. And when you optimize for calls, the quality over time is going to get better and better. Let me see if there is any other pros or any other cons. Yeah, the only cons is that, one, you need to be very good at writing VSLs. And the second one, you need to know what type of VSL is going to get you the best results, because there are many different types of VSLs. You have short VSLs with a guarantee. Those are 3 to 5 minutes VSLs that revolve around a guarantee. You have long form value-based VSLs, and then you have a ton of different types of VSLs. So you really need to know which one of these is going to get you the best results. But out of all the strategies, the VSL, by the way, is something that you can also leverage organically. You get a bunch of traffic, whether that is for Reels, YouTube videos, TikTok videos. If you send that traffic, which most of the time is going to be called and educated to a VSL, that is going to speed up the sales process so much, and is going to also help with the shop rate and the closing rate a lot. So the VSL is definitely a tool, an asset that you should always have in your arsenal when it comes to your coaching, consulting, course, or even service-based business. Then we have the low ticket offer, and before I continue, I hope it's still recording, but if not, it is what it is. When it comes to the low ticket offer. Basically, the way it works is that you have the ad, then you send people to a sales page. On that sales page, you're going to be selling a product that is going to be $7 to $97. And then once people start, okay, I'm actually getting paranoid. Let me see if it's still recording. All right, my prediction was right, and the camera was not recording anymore. So going back to what I was saying, the next strategy is going to be the low ticket offer funnel. So if you don't know what that is, basically you run ads, you send people to a sales page. On the sales page, you're going to be selling a product that is going to be anywhere from $7 to $97. Then people are going to be going through your program. And at the same time, you're also going to be working either yourself or an appointment setter is going to work those low ticket offer customers with the goal of getting them on a call. And then you're going to be getting people into your main program. So the goal is basically to ascend those low ticket offer customers to your main offer. Now, when it comes to this strategy, the pro is that, of course, if done correctly, it allows you to liquidate the ad spend. So let's say that you spend $200 a day and you generate $200 a day in low ticket offer sales. It means that you are pretty much spending zero to do the marketing and to acquire new customers. So that's great. Now, of course, creating low ticket offers is not as easy as it sounds. And for some niches, it's actually very, very difficult. The second benefit is that since there is a price barrier, as I was saying before, you're going to be selling a low ticket offer between $7 to $97. The quality of the prospects and the leads that you're going to be generating is going to be very, very high because there is a price barrier. So every time they're going to be jumping on a call, people will be very different compared to the people that you will be getting with normal call traffic, whether there's a VSL or an IGDM. The negatives, as I was saying before, is that considering there is a price barrier, it's not going to be that easy to create offers that convert very, very well and that allow you to liquidate the spend or even make a profit on the front end. And the second problem is that if you don't have a lot of experience running ads, the second thing that you need to keep in mind is that if you don't have a lot of experience, this is going to require a ton of work. Setting up the funnel, the email integrations, the cart abandonment emails, the payment integration, using a second payment processors, like you have all of those things that you need to do. And a lot of times, like especially the clients I work with, they don't really have the ability to create a low ticket offer funnel. And as I was saying before, considering there is a price barrier, you're gonna have to make changes on the fly. You're gonna have to change the offer on the fly, make changes to the landing page, change the sections, move them up, move them down. So most of the times you do need to be quite skilled from a technical perspective. Then we have the live webinar, challenge, and workshop funnel, where you basically run the ads, you send people to a registration page, then on the day of the challenge or the workshop, they join Zoom or Webinar Jam, whatever software you use. You go for like a 2-hour presentation, then they join the second day, the third day, and all of those leads that register, you can get them on a Facebook group and keep them engaged for those 3 days. Now, the great thing about this is that when it comes to like a B2C offer, in most cases, it's going to work really well because you spend quite a lot of time with those leads. They get educated, they get nurtured, and when they're going to be jumping a call with you, they're going to be very warm and they're going to be ready to buy because they spend so much time with you and they got so much value. Now, of course, there are also some problems. Actually, before I talking about the problems, I will also mention a couple more pros when it comes to this strategy. The first one is that the second one is that the cost per lead can be quite low. It's one of those strategies where we see a cost per lead that a lot of times is pretty low. And the third thing is that if you add a VIP option, meaning that by VIP, most of the times you just have like an additional call with the leads, or you give them some sort of tools or tracker that they can use. And most of the times this VIP ticket, you price it between $47 to $97. If you do it correctly, you can liquidate the ad spend once again. When it comes to the cons, once again, the tech setup is not the easiest because you have the reminders, the email automation, the Zoom or Webinar Jam links, you have the SMS reminders, you need to have the group, you need to keep the group engaged, you need to create the slides. And also another problem that you have is that it's not an evergreen strategy. Since you need to be live, it's not something that you can automate and it can be evergreen. So that is one problem when it comes to the webinar or the challenge/workshop funnel. So with that being said, out of all of the strategies that I could recommend, if you want to add anywhere from like 10 to 100K or even more per month, as I was saying before, like we have clients that scale from 30 to 350K per month just with one of these strategies. If you look at all the strategies that I just mentioned, what I would suggest when it comes to paid ads is the IGDM follower strategy. The IGDM strategy, the IG follower strategy, and the VSL strategy. These three are going to be three easiest strategies that you can put in place that can actually get you results and can get you clients, as I was saying before, in a predictable, profitable, and scalable way. Now, if you need help implementing these strategies, and if you need help acquiring more high-ticket clients in a way that is predictable, profitable, and scalable, then there are two things that you can do. The first thing is you can tap below. You're going to find my Instagram profile link. You can just send me a message. You can let me know what is your niche, what are the problems that you're facing, and what have you tried, and I will give you my suggestions in regards to what you should be doing. Or if you want, you can book a call, once again by clicking the link that you're going to be finding below this video. We analyze your situation, we look at the numbers. Again, I'm a numbers guy, so I just look at the numbers, I see where the bottleneck might be for you, and then I present you a potential solution that we can put in place. And with that being said, that's pretty much it for today's videos. As always, if you have more videos that you would like to see, then just let me know and I'll be more than happy to record them. So with that being said, I will finish my writable, finish the recording, and that's it for today's video. See you soon.